Assane Drame. I am I was a judge in Senegal for 17 years before joining UNADC, and I am a regional coordinator of global program on crimes and affairs and environment. I'm based in Yaoundé in Cameroon. First of all, I would like to thank the organizer for this invitation because I think it's a very good opportunity for sharing and mutual learning to strengthen our knowledge. We will share with you UNODC approach to crime in the fisheries sector, but we think that to succeed in the fight against this crime and addressing also IU fishing, the traditional fishing management approach need to be complemented by a criminal justice approach. UNODC as a guardian of the United Nations Convention Against Transnational Organized Crime, UNTOC, and its protocol, as well as a United Nations Convention Against Corruption, like UNCAC. Our mandate is to promote international cooperation in order to prevent and combat transnational organized crime effectively, and the scope is just prevention, investigation, and prosecution. In this vein, we support member states to address crime in the fisheries sector. When UNODC, as I mentioned, complements the work of FIO as lead agency to address IU fishing by addressing crime in the fisheries sector. So it's important to note that these two organizations work in close cooperation, in close collaboration. In our approach, crime in the fisheries sector cover a broad range of illegal activities that may occur at one or more stages of the fisheries value chain. These offenses are different from IU fishing, also are often related to and occur at the same time, may or may not be directly linked to the fishing operation, and frequently meet criteria for the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, UNCAC, and the United Nations Convention Against Transnational Organized Crime to apply. Crime in the fisheries sector can be divided in two categories. Firstly, crime associated with the fisheries sector that have no direct connection with fishing operation, but take place on fishing vessels or fishing facilities or use fishing operation to commit or cover crimes. Secondly, crime in the fisheries sector that are closely linked to the fishing operation. Also, they are not illegal fishing per se, but they include, and we'll see that more deeply after, fraud, forgery, corruption, tax crime, money laundering, etc. But what are the interlinkages with IU fishing? However, in a number of cases, the circumstances surrounding IU fishing, for example, volume of the catch, the frequency of the offenses, the cross-jurisdictional nature of the violation, the type of catch, for example, if whether it's endangered or protected species or CITES listed species, etc. Or for example, the use of particularly disruptive fishing methods like explosives, like electrocution, etc., may be regarded by states as serious enough to call for more severe sanctions. In such cases, domestic legal framework may provide for higher administrative sanctions or even criminal penalties through the criminal justice system, which may go beyond the threshold of 4 years of imprisonment prescribed in the definition of serious crime provided by Article 2 of the UNTOC. This is where UNODC can complement the work of the FIO and others through the mandate related to criminal justice. Our menu of services, we have, like I said earlier, mandate to assist member states in their effort to combat crime in the fisheries sector. We provide also technical assistance, research and analytical work, and uh, normative work. Uh, it's important to note that regarding our normative work, we have a legislative review and development of tools such as the legislative guide in relation to the fisheries sector. The legislative guide on crime in the fisheries sector aims to support member states in adopting or strengthening domestic legislation to prevent and combat these illicit activities. And states are encouraged to use this guide as a practical tool as a draft. This guide will also has been developed in close consultation and cooperation with FIO. Supporting member states, we have adopted the value chain approach. UNODC, like I say, support member states to address crime in the fisheries sector through following a value chain approach. By examining this value chain, we'll be able to identify different types of crime like fraud and forgery, corruption, money laundering, tax evasion, and other forms of transnational organized crime like drug trafficking, trafficking firearms, human trafficking, etc. We have seen that the value chain uh, of sectors such as crime or forestry sector are often vulnerable to crime. Let's look closely at the fishery value chain and its different stages. What we see is just a simplified version of the value chain. The real one is different from species to another and it's not linear. Some of the stages repeat itself, such as for example, transportation. Adopting value chain approach serves a twofold purpose. Firstly, it allows for the identification of the numerous points along the chain at which different types of crime offenses typically occur. Secondly, it allows for highlighting a potential entry point for law enforcement intervention in identifying, investigating, and prosecuting crime through the sector. The value chain analysis is the starting point for identifying the specific needs for each country in combating crime in the fisheries sector. For example, through corruption risk assessment based on the UNODC Rochefish guide, and then define a targeted mitigation strategy that include preventive and enforcement measures. The value chain analysis. Like I say, is just the foundation of the technical assistance provided by GPKA. GPKA is Global Program on Crimes Affecting the Environment, which analyze the value chain stages and agencies involved with the aim to identify vulnerabilities for different type of crime and design measures to address these vulnerabilities. The value chain analysis is just a starting point for more target technical assistance, including assistance delivered in collaboration with other programs, UNODC programs. The first stage, like preparation preparation, we will be able to identify different type of crime like fraud, like corruption, like tax crime, like anti-money laundering. So in the preparation stage, the fishing company approach an individual state or regional fisheries management organization to obtain a license to fish in specific waters for specific quotas and a specific type of fish. These licenses can impose restriction on the on the fishing operation by regulating the species of fish that may be caught, catch quotas, permit year, areas, or season of fishing. Furthermore, the licenses may require additional monitoring measures like a satellite tracking system on board, etc. And the vessel has to be acquired, equipped, something like that. And at this stage, it's important to know that the forging and fraudulent document, completion of document will take place. This may affect any preparatory documents such as fishing licenses, as I mentioned, vessels registration, crew documentation, etc. Fraud and forgery at this stage lays the basis for committing other serious crime, such as tax crime. And during the same period of time, fishing operation may deviate from legally acquiring fishing licenses by paying sometimes bribes to authorities. Bribes may be offered not only to receive fishing license, but also to obtain higher quotas or to have official look away when crew members are missing work permits. And during this same phase, preparation phase, the basis for later tax crime is laid out. This may include the creation of offshore financial centers such as shell companies. Furthermore, many preparatory activities for tax crime are based on other crimes such as corruption, fraud, and forgery committed at this stage. And last, money laundering. The preparation stage for fishing operation gives the opportunities for criminals to create an apparent legal origin for proceeds generated from illegal activities. On way of doing this by disguising the ownership of assets through the creation of foreign legal entities. These entities will be used to acquire capital-intensive assets such as fishing vessels, a method which may give rise to tax crime opportunities. In the same manner, the preparation phase offers opportunity to illicit investment. So we have phase two, stage two fishing. We have the same type of crime like fraud, like corruption, like tax crime. Because when the vessel starts operation and catching fish in the sea, it can make numerous catches in different areas. Each catch should be recorded and report to the fishing authority. After being packed in standardized size boxes, the catch may be returned to port by the same ship or transshipped to other vessels. That means that the catch may never sometime be reported to the relevant authorities in the vessel's residence jurisdiction. Fishing agencies try to monitor a vessel's activities by conducting inspection at sea and by requiring fishers to maintain documentary evidence of the vessel's activities. It should be noted that the fishing stage may incorporate production activities such as aquaculture, something like that. And we have fraud at this stage because the fishing stage is more vulnerable to fraud reporting of catch with respect to the origin, the amount, and the species of fish. Again, fraudulent recording of catch may clear the way for committing other serious crime during the landing stage. Corruption also may take place during the fishing phase when vessel gets inspected by authorities while at sea. Bribe may be paid to have official not enforcing law, violation through missing licenses or lacking work permit to have them overlook bad working condition, discontinue proceed other offenses, or to have them release vessels that have been caught at sea. And last, we have, like I say, tax crime. Phase three, the same type of crime, like fraud, corruption, tax crime, and money laundering. We know a vessel can land a catch at many international port or in case of transshipment even at sea. Generally, the vessel should land its catch at a licensed port. In some cases, the landing destination will be determined by the nature of the fishing licenses or through a broker who try to determine where to land a catch in order to receive the best sale price. When landing the catch, the value and the type of the catch should be reported to the authorities. Fisheries inspector monitor to the catch from the vessel to the retail using the vast amount of documentation that has been produced up to this stage, like sale notes, invoices, stock taking record, landing report, etc. Yet, physical inspections are rare due to the overwhelming logistical challenges and even more so where the landing phase take place in form of transshipment at sea. We have processing phase 4, stages 4. The processing stage may take out at sea, at the port, including in other countries. The processing itself can generally be divided into substantial steps. Primary processing, which means the cleaning and filtering the fish, and secondary processing, meaning manufacturing. And also, fraud can take place at multiple points during the value chain. The processing stage is especially vulnerable to it. Three broader categories of activities are usually to be found here. The first one is the intentional mislabeling of the catch, which is done to conceal the geographical origin of the fish, the fishing method used, and the misused brand name. The second category, depending on when and where the processing take place, low value species may replace high value species for the reason of price manipulation or tax evasion. Species substitution can impose a major threat to consumer in case toxic species substitute non-toxic species. Furthermore, manipulation, the value of the catch through species substitution upon the way to tax crime and money laundering. The third category is manipulating the product itself by means of increasing the weight or artificially enhancing the financial appearance of the product for economic gain. Stage 5, transport. Transport occurs between the site where the fish is caught, processed, landing, and sold. This site may be in one or multiple countries, which make monitoring and control difficult. The transportation of fish and fish product will create a new trial of document in which Information such as content and weight will be described. Documentation at this stage will be even more complicated when the product go across national borders due to more complex documentation requirement, currency exchange, and varying requirement in import-export contract. Food safety in maintaining cold chain are important consideration for actors in the transportation stage. In general, means of transportation include ship, truck, or aircraft. Transporting the fish product will create a complex trial for documentation, as I mentioned, which are reported to be subject to, to fraud. And we have also corruption in the transportation stage, mainly include bribe to custom officials in order to facilitate the continuation of forged licenses or to certify falsified report catches. And last stage, we have sale. Sailing the catch might take place at sea or at land. Many fishing operations have negotiated arrangement with buyer prior to the catch. Therefore, ownership of the fish transfer in the moment of the catch is transshipped to a referred vessel. Once arriving at the port, the fish is traded. If the product had been auctioned off at the port, the auction might be conducted by the fish producer organization. The payment mostly is in cash, will be received by the captain. As a customer, the captain will pay crew member, etc. And at this stage, retailer may sometimes become victim or accomplice to the fraud chain. As an accomplice, the retailer may decide to mislabel the fish product himself or herself. A major global study in 2016 found that on average, 20% of all fish samples were mislabeled. Mislabeling of certain species like red snapper were found to be high at 70%, 75% in some cases. Also, mislabeled species may have serious repercussion for the final consumer, as mislabeling of toxic species such as, for example, lethal puffer fish have caused multiple fatalities in the past. We have also corruption because bribe are often used to have authorities overlook or certify fraudulently file record, invoice, inventory, or other document. At the same time, corruption and fraud document may lay out tax crime. In this vein, just to conclude, it's important for us to try how we can join our effort and to coordinate our action. And just to complement the traditional fishery management approach by a criminal justice approach. Crime in the fishery sector, has mentioned it, are different to IUU fishing, but sometimes IUU fishing and crime occur at the same time. And adopting the value chain approach is just a purpose to, for us, allow to identify at different stages, different type of crime may occur, and most important, it also allow to define strategies, yes, to mitigate this risk of corruption and other type of crime. And then, thank you for your attention.